Ghost Town, a map I am still kind of struggling with, because it actually is more complex than I might thought. Normally, heavy tanks just go up here, and then play around this area. Yeah, pretty dumb, I think. It's just very annoying, very boring. So you have tank destroyers sitting here, some medium tanks like to just stand then here and can't do nothing. Also, the same goes for that area. You have maybe a light tank sitting here, Early game, this is a possible opportunity. It becomes impossible to play later than they are playing more aggressively, for example, at these areas or these areas. Somehow they can shoot them at the bushes. I didn't figure out the east part so much, I didn't play it that much, but what I can say is lots of tank destroyers normally sitting up here. But if you have a medium tank, or yeah, maybe a medium tank which can play a little bit around this, or this area when you position yourself in the early game already, or light tanks, you might be able to make the east part a little bit more workable. But all in all, I really don't like this map. I don't know, for me it's such a campo map as well, and it becomes only playable in late game, where you can try to defend or attack a little bit more openly, but also there's lots of cover for the tank destroyers. We have bushes and cover at this map for most regions, which makes it really a pain in the ass for me to play. So sadly, I'd say Ghost Town actually is a D-tier map. Studzianki, oh boy, this map. The thing is, this is maybe the worst map in terms of being not able to play the game actively. It's the biggest camper map you can imagine, for my opinion. Heavy tanks go here, can't do nothing. Medium tanks try to go here, can't do nothing. And if they do something, they normally get sniped by tank destroyers, which, for example, sit here. I can sit here. Also, sometimes, yeah, more or less a little bit like here. And in this area, you can outcamp also the enemy team. So if you win, for example, with south part team, you go here, and that's a dead end, because enemy team just outplays you from the whole area if you're not in a high number advantage. And I don't know, some people still like to go up here and be not able to do anything. I never seen any successful push through the northern part of this map. Maybe in very, very late game, where you can maybe outflank the enemy team, which is still busy up here. But I never really see this. I don't even remember anything like this. I just know some moves from Onslaught maybe, which make the northern part somehow a little bit more important. But all in all, I think that whole area in the north, this is just like impossible to play. And the rest is just such a camping standoff, it's horrible. It's one of the worst maps. So Studzianki, I'm sorry, but you have to go to the Insta ban list. Overlord, well, definitely not one of my favorite maps as well. Highly camping, especially if your team doesn't know what they are doing. They like to go to the beach, for example, stand there. Also enemy tank likes to go to the beach with heavy tanks, stand there. Nothing is possible to do. Light tanks and medium tanks try to play a little bit those positions here and can't do anything. So normally I like to just play defensively in this area. Enemy team can do this, for example, like this. Or if you feel like it, you can also go up here and not being able to do so much. Just wait for your possibilities when the enemy team makes some mistakes as well. You can try to do this, but normally this is prohibited by enemy heavy tanks sitting here, being able to outflank you and annoy the fuck out of you. So sometimes rather go here, but I think in this area you almost have nothing to do at all, because the shooting channels are pretty bad in most games, as far as I experienced. So yeah, Overlord, I don't know, that whole eastern area becomes playable maybe in late game, when people are trying to go through here, and when they get outcamped normally by the enemy, wrong color, enemy tank destroyer sitting around this area. Same goes normally for this spawn, but the camping positions are a little bit more hidden, or a little bit further back. But also you could push here, and then you go up here, kind of, but yeah, where it normally ends for you as well, because there are still, for example, sitting here, people in the base, and yeah, prevent you from playing this game actively or aggressively. So Overlord, I'd say it's the same from frustrating level like Fisherman's Bay, but because it gives almost no tank class any reason to be played on this map. Maybe tank destroyers camping the whole time in the back, or then shooting from the cliffs. I don't know, I think it's such... For me, it's not fun in the slightest way to play on this map, sadly. Even though the map design is not maybe the worst, but still, it's so annoying to play on this map. That's, for me, it's D-tier. Paris, well, city map. The problem is light tanks or medium tanks can't do so much until late game. You can go here and camp a little bit. You can only stand here, or there's a certain bush, maybe sometimes even here, and I think it was that street where that one bush is, so you can stand here and yeah, just wait until something happens in the center. People like to camp also in this area and this area. RT somehow is somewhere here normally, being useless. And then your heavy tanks go to the important part of the map, which is this area, and the other team stands normally up here. and waits normally, but you should go the safe way, which is normally around that whole middle thing, because then otherwise you can get shot by the guys from the center. Yeah, but that's also a possibility to go like this. And yeah, then you have this area which is being fought for. Until then, everyone else has to wait until something happens, until the push comes here or there. And if you win the center for some reason, because the enemy has no tanks sent there, for example, you can then try to play in those streets and make some pressure. Or to wait till the enemy tank destroyers are trying to move somehow from the middle to the further back of the map. This is the time where you can just go straight through the center, but this normally happens just in late game. I think it's a annoying map. Only heavy tanks can really play it actively, and even they have a shit time because there's so much spots where you can hide or play hull down and hide your weak spots, and then it's just a battle of the higher tier tanks against each other, and then they just roll over the lower tier tanks. So I think even after the rework, this whole area here is pointless. Nothing happens here. It's just a death zone, and yeah, that makes Paris such a bad map. So definitely not one of the worst maps, but because of a lack of joy for most tank classes, it's for me a D tier. So we're now at Czech Republic with Pilsen. And Pilsen, well, kind of a neutral map, I would say. You have that whole death area in the east. So people like to just outcamp the enemy east flank players around this part. And I think it's this part here around this, making it really hard to play for light tanks any efficient way. Somehow they try to go through that part here, but normally this ends in kind of disaster and they explode. Also that middle part, somehow light tanks try to play a little bit around here or there, but nothing really happens, so I have never seen some great gameplay which outspotted anyone. Also, tank destroyers are normally sitting up that region, up this region. Sometimes late game, tank destroyers and artillery hide here or there. And normally important is this area and this area, depending on the spawn. And sometimes people tend to try to guard those corners here, which makes this like the main battle station of the map, where normally the game is decided, and the rest is more of a waiting and camping. You can defend also from this area if the enemy team manages to go through here. If they are coming to the south spawn, then normally it's not so easy to defend actually. We have the best chances maybe from here until they spot you, or then just to stay here and camp, but I think it's a little bit easier for the northern spawn if they manage to win that whole center area. And in late game sometimes you can also cross here to the middle or here to the middle if that thing is still not won by anyone, if they just trade it equally. Yeah, that's Pilsen, where I would say nothing special. A neutral map, kind of, yeah, I don't know, boring, because you have to wait until mid or late game to play actively actually. So for that reasons I would put Pilsen in C tier actually. Glacier. Oh, I liked this map first, but I don't know what happened, but somehow it became such a shit map. Let's make it fast. Well, for late game, you can just outcamp enemy team for the northern part if you camp in the forest parts, or there, and a little bit there. You can't go through the southern part for any reason. I don't know why. Let's make it a little bit bigger. It just stops like here somehow. I don't know why. And here, people don't push any further, even though they are not even getting spotted from the middle. They just don't like to push together because they are afraid. I don't know why. So yeah, it normally ends if you go like this and like this, nothing happens. And then the big important thing is this area here. And heavy tanks go there, stand against each other, looking at each other. Sometimes light tanks make it up to this area here a little bit, but it's highly stressful. Normally you have to be very aware that the enemy tank destroyers are not getting you, and then you stand just, for example, if you're a blue team here or a red team there, and then you can shoot also to the most important part, like this whole thing. I mean the whole northern part. This is where all the punk is starting, but yeah, all the rest is just useless. Back in the day, people tried to play hull down in this area a little bit, but that's pretty senseless now too, because nothing happens. You get just spotted by the enemy tank destroyers. You can't push there. The whole central area is kind of useless now, and maybe it was always the case. And especially in higher tiers, it's just a stupid map, and you can't do anything. You can just wait till you win the northern part, and if you win, for example, you could drive here, but then you get like just shot by the enemy tank destroyer. So you need a big number advantage, or the other team gets the upper hand again. Same goes here. You go there, but you can still get shot by the tank destroyer standing here. So normally northern part I think has a disadvantage here because northern part has an advantage here because southern part, those positions here are not so strong, but still just the same annoying thing for both sides in the end. Glacier is actually so bad that I would put it on insta-ban list nowadays. It could be just D tier if they would open the map a little bit more or make more passages, and maybe it's not even 2 corridors anymore because everyone just focus on the north part, which is okay, but the south part it's not played by anyone, everyone is afraid to move, so actually, yeah, no other choice than to put this on Insta ban list. So I don't want to make this video too long, that's why I will cut it here. There will be around 4 to 5 maps with every episode I will discuss. I hope it will be helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will tune in next time. Thanks guys for watching, and cheers bros.